poll question. So do any of you have any big ideas? Anything that attaches to a theme that's part of our new normal that comes out of this pandemic that you're working on, that you're thinking about, that maybe you can share, maybe you can't share too, but anyone have any big $100 million ideas coming out of this pandemic that they want to share or talk about?
Well, I'll jump in. You know, being in real estate, and my friend Pete Cadens and I talked previously, and I'm going to quote Warren Buffett, which is, you know, be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy is when others are fearful. And taking that mentality, and I believe there's a really big opportunity coming in the real estate sector, but it's years down the road. And so for me, I look at this and say, gee, this is an opportune time to continue to advise clients, you know, appropriately help them through this time. But bigger, the big idea is, gee, in 2023, in 2022, go, and I think this is a really big acquisition period for clients and for investors.
Yeah, Brad, that's an important point, because a lot of people were expecting after the 2008 financial crisis that the real estate fallout and foreclosures would be end of 2008 or in 2009. In reality, those didn't peak till 2011. And so there is definitely a lag here. You got to, you know, so there is something about sitting on your hands and in some point, you know, just not jumping immediately, but waiting for opportunities to come to you as well.
You have to. I mean, you have to be patient. And this is something that's going to take a long time to sort of feel the real effects that this has, not only on all of our business, but on just industries and sectors. And so being very patient, continuing to do the right thing, give good advice. And when the time is, you know, down the road, hopefully we'll be able to act.
Great. Rick, you have a big idea you want to share?
Well, maybe just to chime in, because it's a real estate angle. So I'd love to have a side conversation with you about this, Brad. But one of our, you know, you heard a little bit about our water and bottle filler and sink business. The other side of our business is commercial interiors. And one of the biggest things that business does is partners with major global restaurant and hospitality brands on their remodels. So we'll essentially act as sort of a general contractor of the remodels, which happen pretty frequently. Well, I think that the change that is going to stay with hospitality and restaurant industry from this situation is going to be long lasting. And one of the things that we're doing with the McDonald's and Hiltons and others of the world is really talking about design and what does that new footprint, what does the future design look like? You can imagine restaurants, if you don't have drive up, walk up kind of service, you're probably going to need it. If you don't have grab and go kind of options in your restaurant, you're going to need it. If you don't have kind of a walking flow and a really convenient way to pay touchlessly, you're going to need it. So we think the innovations there are going to be very substantial, and we're in some really interesting discussions with restaurants and hotel chains right now around what those long-term changes are going to be and how we can play a big role in it. So I just thought I'd jump off of your real estate theme there, Brad, because it's certainly something that we think about.
Yeah, no, and just, sorry, I'm add just one thing is that we are all thinking about, you know, if and when we go back, what does the future look like, and how does that, how are we going to work in the future? Is it going to be from an RV in Asheville? It might be, you know, you don't. So anyway, I'm jealous. I wish I just pointed that out because I'm a little jealous, Katie.
Hey, Brad, mate, come visit. Drive your car down, come visit.
I'll go with you, Brad. We'll bike there. Bonnie or Katie, any big, hairy, audacious opportunities in front of you that you're thinking about as a result of the new normal?
Yeah, I mean, this like the pandemic has solidified for us that SaaS is the future, right? Like our whole mission at Codeverse is teaching 1 billion kids to code, and that requires a SaaS only delivery model. So, you know, our path has changed to get there, right? From in-person studio model to like this one-on-one virtual learning. But the big vision has stayed the same. So SaaS all the way is what I've learned from all of this. That's like the $100 million more idea.
Awesome. Devani.
Right. I think for us, again, it's, you know, we all knew the importance of health and wellness, right? And similar to what Brad said earlier, I think for us, it's really, again, to the forefront about how we really need to insert more mindfulness moments, you know, of mental and physical well-being in our daily lives. I think earlier, you know, before this, we all used to have, you know, half an hour that we used to go to the gym, and that was our time away, that was the time to get exercise. But it's all becoming really integrated with our everyday life, right? And that's how we want to keep thinking about the future. So we think of how do we make healthy habits, right? How do we make people just habitual with practicing more, again, mental and physical well-being. So that's kind of what we're exploring.